B110 size 12. You could tie this fly slightly bigger and smaller if you wish. The thread I'm just going to use a UTC thread in 70 in black. Just start the thread and kind of take it down till basically we're in line with the point of the hook, and then remove the waste piece. Now there's going to be 2 ribs in this fly, and first rib is going to be a black flexi floss, or flex floss, or uniflex, which is much the same. Just depends on the company you buy it from. And I'm just going to catch it on with a tail, leave basically a piece so you can pull it and stretch it and cut it away. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to anti-clockwise twist or spin the bobbin holder so that the thread goes flat. This will keep it a wee bit finer and thinner. Now the second rib of the fly, this is just grey turkey, natural grey turkey, or you use dyed turkey, whatever you can get. And all I need is a single fibre. Just a single, basically just to give the impression of the fine hairs that run in between each segment of the Midge Pupa's body. Now first thing we do is make sure this is tight before I tie it on. Now tie it above the flexi floss, in by the tip, and then quickly take your thread back up. Try and form a nice sort of tapered body using the UTC thread is like a fine floss. You can actually build it up slightly. And once you're happy, as I said, this small tail here, or the floss, I can trim it away and then tidy up. And then tightly, first sort of 3-4 turns of the flexi floss, and then as you get nearer the top, just slightly loosen off so you get a taper as well, and then across your thread. Okay, a good 3 or 4 turns. Now I'm going to trim this about halfway up so that when I wind over the top of the floss it stretches the rest. Now to protect the herring and basically the body and so on, I'm going to use, this is diamond hard tack free resin, UV resin. This is by Deer Creek, and this is a thin version. They're bringing out a thin version, so just a wee drop on the top, and then I like to use my dubbing needle. It's very light, don't put too much on, just spread it all the way around the body. Just take your time when you're doing this. Nice light coat. There we are. And then bring your hair in between each turn of the floss all the way up. Just take your time. Now there's a fly called the grey boy. Now the reason it's grey, gets the impression of grey, is there's a fine hair in between each segment, and when it's wet it gives a grey look and even a silver look. Now once you've done that, just set the resin all the way around. That should do it. And then carry on up, just forming your thorax. Just a wee drop of the resin on the thorax here, so I'm just going to break it off. That's fine. Now for the wing buds, I'm going to use this Lite-Brite here, polar pearl it's called. So it's a nice, see that bronzy look through the pearl, which is nice, it works well. You just simply take a few strands out and then you moisten it, so you're forming basically like the width of a medium tinsel or floss. And then all I do is fold it round about an inch or so, round the thread, and then bring it underneath, and bring the thread up, right towards the herald, and then back down, and that's your thorax, and then bring the long piece and the short piece to the front and on top of the actual thorax. All I do is bring it over the back, a couple of loose turns, a wee quick look to see how it's sitting. I'm just going to put another one in there to make sure it's not going to move. Now just to exaggerate the thorax a wee bit, I'm actually going to pull it out with the needle. Just basically put the needle in between, or between the thorax and the Lite-Brite, just to form a small, basically making a bulge on it, so that you can fold these back. Gives you a better impression of the wing buds. You can tie some with, just basically tight up against the thorax like I've done here. Now just check. This is wrapped around the thread, but I'll remove it. Just check that they're both the same length. That looks okay. Now what I'm going to do here is really lift the fibres and do a turn or two in front. This is going to give the impression of the gills. And you want 2 or 3 turns to hit finish. It's just basically enough to hold. Now these are going to give the impression of the actual gills of the pupa. So I'm going to cut them both the same length, but long enough so they're out the way, so you can actually work with the fly. Now what I'm going to do here is just make sure the wing buds are sitting where I want, because you can move them around at this point. And I'm going to colour them up, and I'm just going to use, in this case it's a Sharpie pen, an orange Sharpie pen. On the bottom end, just leave the top of the material, your polar fibre, just leave it the normal colour. You see that nice golden colour. Now I'm just rubbing my nail on the underside, just to basically pull these towards the back. And that looks alright, it's fine. Then back to the diamond hard resin. Just going to put a wee drop, and I mean just a tiny drop. This is just to set the shape. Now I'm going to spread this round thorax. Now the reason I don't put too much on, I don't want it running up into these, or the gills. Don't want them stiffening up. So I'm just moving these around to suit, at this point, the wing buds. The good thing about the resins, you can actually do this before you've got time to do this anyway. Not like the varnishes that start to actually set while you're putting them on. That looks okay. And then set the resin. Doesn't take long. That's fine. And then we drop more. Now sometimes I want to make the wing buds a wee bit better, more pronounced in the sides, so the light actually penetrates them. So what I'll do is put a wee drop either side, and only concentrate on the Lite-Brite, just spreading it on there. And again you can set the resin. Take as many times to do this as you want, and slowly building up the thorax. Now you could colour up the top end of the thorax area, and I'm going to use a permanent marker pen in black. Just pull the breathers out of the way, and again just come in with a tiny drop. Now you don't need a lot, it's really important that you don't put a lot on. Make sure it's spread out. Once you see the shape you like, come straight in with the torch, set it. Now I'm going to do the underside. Just a tiny drop again. So. Now see if you see a shape that you like straight away, you can just go straight in with the torch and set it. Just want a wee bit longer. And there we are. Just a wee quick look. Now what I want to do here is just add a tiny drop basically to the bottom of the wing buds, just to stretch them out a wee bit. So I'm putting a wee drop onto the end of my needle. If there's too much, I'm just going to take it off. Just add it to this point here. A wee quick look. Again, I'm just going to do a wee bit more. So you can really build it up. It's a good fun about the resins nowadays, you can do this. The more light it comes through it, the better. And there we are. That's a good midge pattern. So very good for a duck fly, an early season midge. Now I'm going to cut this about maybe 2mm or so away from the fly, and then I'm just going to rough it up to give the impression of the gills, or breathers as we would say. You don't need this on, you can take it off if you want, but there is times it works extremely well, so it's certainly worth having on. And there you are. If I bring up a stronger light closer, then you'll see how the light actually shines through it. You see the light there, how it penetrates. And that's what you're looking for in your midge patterns. And then when the light disappears, the fly should darken down. So then it's working as it should in nature. A dull fly, dull day, sun comes out, and then it lightens up, gives you the edge that you need. So I hope you enjoyed that.